Hi, this is Pete George, and we are live with Vicki Abelson on Game Changers. Our special guest tonight is James Morrison.
I'm a selfish man, don't you know? I take credit for the money when I crow. I take what I want, I don't borrow. I drink tears, I eat sorrow. I'm a selfish man, I will prevail. I don't like to buy things, I like to make the sale. I don't like to be told, I like to tell the tale. If you succeed, then I have failed. I have cruel intent, cut like a knife. I will raise your rent, I will steal your wife. I sow discontent every day of my life. I'm a selfish man, I'm a selfish man, I'm self-made. I take credit for the plan, long as it's well laid. I'm underappreciated, I'm underpaid. Give me loyalty or be betrayed. I'm a heartless lover, ungrateful son. I'm a greedy brother, I'm a hit and run. I'll have no honor, I'm a thief and crook. I'm a one and done, baby, I wrote the book. He's a selfish man, as you can tell by how he talks about himself, as if he's not there. It's all about him and no one else. He's a selfish man, he's a selfish man. He's a selfish man.
Thank you. James, you are not a selfish man. I know enough about you to know that. So, who's that song about?
It's about...
I just got the answer.
It's about the guy that, and guys like him who are in charge of running our country right now.
I would say that is the epitome of a selfish man.
Yeah, they're pretty selfish.
So, obviously a new song? A new song? That?
It's about 9 months old. Yeah, I've had it out there for about 9 months.
So, what can we do with that song? That should be the anthem of the movement.
The anthem to the resistance, actually, that I wrote and I released on the. I do have it. It's on my website. It's called "I Don't Know You."
Wait a minute, can you play a little?
No. Yeah.
Okay. All right. I didn't ask about.
I barely prepared this.
Okay. Yeah.
In fact, I played it in such the wrong key. I was like all over the place. But
no, it sounded great.
It's called "I Don't Know You," and it was an ode to the part of human nature that we really don't want to accept, but it's in charge of things right now. I mean, it's deplorable.
Is there any part of the lyric do you remember any? I mean, I don't want to put you on the
spot.
I don't
know you. I don't know you, and I don't want to. That's really sort of all I remember out of context. Okay. But that, I mean, that says it all. This is a part of human nature that not only doesn't deserve to be in control of other people's lives and destinies and well-being on any level. I mean, clearly they're incapable of it. So why do we want to know that?
I don't want to know that.
I mean, not only do I not want to know it, I don't want it to
infect the world.
I don't want it to infect the world, but I also don't want it to affect the life of my child, your child, anybody's child, and it is.
We were just talking before we went live that I shouldn't out my mother for her political beliefs, but she's actually been swayed by the incredible misbehaviors of Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, she reacted to one issue, one single issue.
Well, there are other issues.
Oh, yeah,
also.
over time,
There's
though,
one that
there was
really,
one that was like put her over the edge.
But abortion, you know, I have a daughter. You have a son who could be affected by that if a girl is in that situation. I mean, to think of going back to the dark ages is just insane.
Well, and my son has got a pre-existing medical condition, so as all cancer survivors do. I mean, as we all do.
Mm-hmm. There's not. Do I know anybody that doesn't have a pre-existing condition?
Don't.
You know, it was actually terrifying when I had to apply for health insurance about 10, 15 years ago. I was terrified that all this stuff from my past was going to come up and haunt, and it did. It bit me on the ass.
Yeah.
I ended up having to pay like 3 times as much for my health insurance.
Yeah. So I'd like to, I mean, that's my issue. We all have our own issue. We all have our own reactions to injustice and to people who think they're above the law.
But it's even, as we were also, yes, I agree. And we were talking about people that go on Facebook. Somebody went on my Facebook. I did a post about Jon Stewart and his incredibly moving and heroic action yesterday. And the fact that he got results is fantastic. And anyway, somebody got on my thread and was incredibly rude and name calling. And we don't do that.
That's the thing.
We don't. We're civilized people. We don't do that.
Yeah. We can disagree without that.
Yeah, the name calling is just really silly. All right, so
okay, we got that out of our system.
All right, so if you are political, James happens to be a tremendous activist and humanist, and if you are political and you have that leaning, James posts a lot about that stuff, and so find him on Facebook. You should anyway, because he's fantastic. James Morrison, look him up and find him and friend him if he'll friend you back. But if you're a friend of the show, maybe you will. I want to say hello. See who's hi, Linda. Hi, Penny. Friends of hi, Bart. Dan O'Shan. Hi, Dan. Dan. I just got to know Dan through Pete. Dan writes for Modern Family, but he was on Cheers and a load of show. What was the show? The iconic show that he wrote, the Newhart show. He wrote
the one about when he was a
Dream.
When he was a cartoon, when he was a cartoonist, wasn't it?
No, that was one before that where he had the inn.
Yes, with the brothers,
Suzanne.
with the brothers.
Larry, Darren, Daryl.
Yeah.
So Dan wrote the episode, the Dream episode, right?
I think he had something big to do with it.
Yeah. So hi Dan, he's my new friend, and he's gonna be on the show anyway. So we say hi Marla, hi Sheila, Bill, hi Rick Smolke. Okay, so I want to talk about. I don't have my tissue box here. How do I not have my tissue? Here I do. So. I don't know if you know. Do you remember when you came to Women Who Write years ago that
Vividly.
we have this, right?
Yeah.
Do you remember this?
Yes.
So Rick Smolke is the reason that I had you do the PSA for the veterans, because we love the veterans, is because Rick Smolke is the most philanthropic and generous man that I know, and he found me on Facebook like 10 years ago and decided he wanted to support Women Who Write. And so he made us all this swag years ago, these tissue boxes, and he made us pads and all this stuff. And he made my bookmarks and if you need anything printed, if you need liner notes done for your, I'm totally serious, for your CDs, he will do it for you gratis because he supports artists.
Okay.
And
he's going, wait a minute.
Wait, what?
He's going, wait a minute.
No, he really will.
Okay.
And he's the most philanthropic person I know, and he's just so generous. And he has Quick Impressions printers in Chicago, and if you need anything done of any kind, he will give you the best deal. He will do the best work, and he's a good person and will take great care of you.
Look at
us.
us.
I love him.
We look like we know what we're doing.
We're kinda. Yeah. Look at them. Give them those blues.
Hi.
He's got these beautiful blue eyes, and so it's gonna be. I'm gonna want them aimed at me, but I'm gonna. So then I have this great hairdresser, and as you can see, her hairspray is called Fuck Off. Yeah. James is polite, he doesn't say it out loud. But so Nicole Venables of the Ruby Begonia Salon, she has great products, and she's a great hairdresser to the stars. She works on a lot of TV sets. And then you should buy my book.
You definitely
Don't
should. Touching and funny, and it's beautiful.
Thank you.
Yeah.
James read it before it came out.
I loved it.
Don't Jump, Sex, Drugs, Rock and Roll, My Fucking Mother. I love my mother.
It brought back memories that I didn't even have. Which is weird.
Let's talk about this a little bit. So your film, Showing Up. Tell us what this is, James.
Showing Up is, let me use this prop to see if I can remember.
Use the prop.
To touch it for a second. Oh, yes.
You're doing like a Karnak
thing, yes. I see a movie about the audition process.
Samantha, my daughter.
using the audition as an allegory for showing up for your life. You know the famous
Okay,
Woody
I
Allen
did-
quote.
I don't-
80% of life is showing up. It's attributed to him. I think he said it.
Wait, 80% of life
Is
is...
showing up. So we decided that that's really...
I didn't know I didn't know it was a bigger issue.
Yeah. Well, you know, what we started with was the idea
Okay,
that
tell us who we is.
my wife and I,
And-
Riyadh Galayini.
Say her name one more time.
Riyadh
I'm not even going to try that. Riyadh.
Galayini
I'm not going there. Riyadh.
is an Arabic
beautiful
name.
name.
Her father was Lebanese, from Beirut.
Uh-huh.
She's Cuban and Lebanese. Her grandmother was from Cuba.
Okay.
For Cuba. So we decided to make a movie about the blessings that, sort of the undercurrent of blessings that follow us around. It's kind of woo-woo, but it's really not. I mean, if you show up someplace, you never know what's going to happen as a result of that having shown up there, even if you don't get what you showed up to get.
Didn't something happen before we start? As soon as you got here, that we said that that's what it was. What happened when you very first got here? I said that's what life is. It's about everything happens as it's supposed to. Something didn't go according to plan today, and I don't remember what it was. So
I think it worked out perfectly.
everything always does, right?
Yeah.
There are no accidents.
So we spoke to about 60 actors that you
Such
know,
as?
such as Eli Wallach.
Wow.
Pat Hingle started us off. He was an old dear friend of mine. Kristen Chenoweth, Stephen Spinella.
I went to college with Stephen Spinella.
Really? He's such a lovely man. And let me see, Dennis O'Hare, Richard.
I saw a bunch
Mary
of
Lynn Ricegub from 24.
Yeah.
Mary Lynn came and talked to us.
fantastic.
B.D. Wong, Julie White. So anyway, we went to New York and talked to all these great actors, and some of them came over to our house here.
Sam Rockwell.
Sam
could
Rockwell.
Could he be bigger than he is right now?
He's doing really well. We're happy.
Nathan Lane.
Nathan Lane. came
Okay.
in. Yeah.
So you talked to them.
We talked to them about how they feel about the process by which we get work
ourselves
as
out there.
actors.
Mm-hmm.
And so, but using it as an allegory for no matter what you do for a living.
So can you give us an example of somebody's story that spoke to a bigger issue of life?
Yeah. My friend Ethan Phillips.
Okay. I don't know who that is.
He's an actor that I've known for 40 years. I met him
Okay.
at the Sundance Institute.
Uh-huh.
He was Neelix on one of the Star Trek incarnations.
Okay.
But he's a wonderful journeyman actor, and he told us a great story about. Let me just backtrack a little
Okay.
bit. We didn't exactly know what the narrative through line was going to be until we met and talked to B.D. Wong, Stephen Spinella, Yul Vasquez, all these great actors in New York, Jack O'Brien, the director.
Okay.
And they brought it. And by that I mean they just kind of opened up their hearts and said, this is how I feel about this process, what I do to show the world myself so that I can get the work that I love to do. And what we discovered was that it doesn't matter what you do for a living. You don't even have to be an artist. You can be a lawyer, a social worker, a photographer, a plumber.
Okay.
Customer service is is what it's about, being of service.
I love that.
So we walk into those rooms, and if we are able, and I mean, I think this is when we're at our best, when we are able to be humble enough to forget ourselves and be of service to the moment, to the story.
So what does that look like in an audition? How is one not being of service to oneself and rather being of service to the piece,
To the story.
to the story?
The people that are you well. This is the best example I can think of.
Okay.
I signed a non-disclosure agreement, and I think it's still in effect, so I can't name names or the project. But I helped a friend, a casting director friend that I've known forever, called me and said, I need an actor to read opposite the person they're testing for the lead in this great, huge movie. But we wanted somebody who's not going to make it about themselves. So can you? And I'd done this for her before, and so you go in, and the first time I did it for her for Kingdom of Heaven. And this is long since passed, so I can name names now.
Okay.
But it's a Ridley Scott directed movie, and Riyadh and I both went in and read with his full costume and
Oh wow!
Like a
Screen test, like a screen test. Yeah.
Real screen test. We read with the actors and read with Orlando, who ended up getting the part.
So wait a minute. So what does that mean? We want somebody that's not going to make it about themselves, and you. So tell us what that means.
So if you're there to be of service to the actor,
right,
the story,
mm-hmm.
The mission of the filmmakers,
okay,
the project, what you're there to do,
right,
rather than anything to do with yourself. That's like being in a relationship where you go, how can I serve you?
I love this. I happen to be in a relationship with someone who is sober, and he says it to me pretty much at the beginning of every conversation and at the end. How can I be of service?
Well, that's what that whole fellowship is based on. Any kind of fellowship that is of service.
But I don't know if that applying. I've never heard of that applying in an audition process.
Well, it's kind of rare. I mean, I don't think a lot of actors really feel that way.
I don't think I've ever heard it described that way before.
Yeah, I'm not making this. I mean, I didn't invent this.
How would your audition be different? How would your audition be different? Being of service to the other actor, the story.
I'll give you an example.
Okay.
I understand your question.
Okay.
I don't mean to interrupt you.
No,
but
I
I
want you to
understand your
interrupt.
question.
Yeah, good.
Years ago, I was hired to do a L.A. Law. Remember L.A. Law?
Oh yeah.
So I was hired to do a recurring. I think it was 3-episode arc. I was Dan Florrick's lawyer. Remember Dan?
I know.
Lovely actor, lovely human being. Anyway, I was his lawyer in a divorce case.
Okay.
So I was his lawyer.
Mm-hmm.
I worked one day. I had such a conflict with the director and I tried to maintain my professional, but I couldn't. So, and he saw that. So he said, I'm not going to work. And the producers saw it too. So I was fired after the first day. So Dan called me at home, said, it's not about you. I get, but I was devastated. It was the first time I'd been fired.
Why couldn't you do with the director? Why?
Because he was an idiot.
Oh, well. Well, there's that.
I hadn't learned yet that, with idiots, especially idiot directors, you just have to say, yeah.
And then do what you want.
Well, and then do what you know have to be. But you don't argue and you don't,
Right.
Anyway, I've since learned that. But, so, that happened.
Mm-hmm.
The next season, I was called in, and I let my hair grow, and I grew a mustache, and I looked like a biker. I gained about 20 pounds. The next season, I got called in to audition for L.A. Law.
Not for the same director.
No, but for the same producer.
Oh, right. Okay.
So I went in and I got the job. So I called my spiritual advisor, we called him, and I said, the circle was complete. I mean, this is what happened in the circle. And he said, wait a minute. Getting the job wasn't the circle. Getting fired and then going back and getting the job, that's not the circle. I said, well, what's the circle? And he said, letting go of yourself long enough to go back to these people to audition who had fired you was the circle.
I like it.
And I mean, it blew my wig off because that's what I mean by when you're of service to the moment, there's something bigger than you are. The story is bigger than we are as actors.
So are people who show up and are able to be of service to the story and to the situation and to the other actors, I would think they'd be more apt to get cast, because I was talking to someone about this the other day, someone who's going up for auditioning, and at this stage of life, I don't give a shit. Like, I'm not trying to impress anybody. I'm comfortable in my own skin. I'm not trying to be what I'm not. So when I was trying to be an actress, I would do anything I thought you wanted to do. Now it's like, no, this is,
you only want to do what you want to do.
Yeah, it's like this is.
So part of that though is I want to do things that really, light a fire behind my eyes and make me want to open my heart to the project and the people working on it.
I love
It's not
this.
me. It's not about me. Then that's what you're saying. It's really not. It's about you insofar as you want to do something that you love, but you're going to go into it.
I'm going to go into it not trying to serve my, because it's not about that anymore.
Yeah.
So I get that. So how does this apply beyond? Okay, so it applies in life in terms of just being of service. It
really does.
Is that
I mean,
the lesson that you learned?
Yeah. I mean, when I finished this thing that I just did that I can't talk about, the director thanked me and said, "I really appreciate it." It was a 12-hour day. I mean, and I got the shit kicked out of me by these actors that were, and I just, but I went into it knowing that I was gonna. And he said, as I was leaving, he stopped me, and I turned around to shake his hand. In the second time, he stopped me and said, "I really appreciate you coming in to help us with this." And I said, I just to feel like I can help an actor get a good gig, that means a lot to me.
Did the actors appreciate, do you think, what you were doing? Yeah.
I mean, any actor who's out there watching this will know that when you walk into a room and you're working against somebody who's not an actor, it's a little bit more difficult to...
Oh, hell yeah. When you're doing it with the casting, that's...
So, we appreciate what an actor is there for, sure.
Okay, so I'm not going to... Oh, God, there's a lot of people. I can't look at those people right. Mickey, hi, Mickey. Hi, Linda.
Hi, everybody.
Hi, Crystal. Hi, Crystal. Hi, Crystal. Crystal got hit by a car this week.
What?
Yes, in her personage. She wasn't in her car.
Oh.
She got hit by a car.
Get well soon.
Yes, and we want you to get well soon. I want you to call my lawyer, Dan Gilbert. Call him. Really, I want him to take good care of you. That's a horrible thing to get hit by a car. Wendy Liebman has been laid up for 7 months already. She got hit by a car. Broke both of her legs. Just this horrible thing that people are... That's a horrible thing.
Let me give you another example of this.
Okay, good.
Because I know you love Sam Rockwell. You just said
I
love Sam Rockwell too.
I love Sam Rockwell.
We love his work. He was so great, and so was Michelle Williams.
I haven't seen that yet.
Well, I won't spoil it except
I've heard
to say,
it's phenomenal.
yeah. Well, so Sam, when he was talking to us, and I'd never met him before, he just came in and they all did. They all just came in and spilled their guts, and
I love that.
Yeah.
How'd you get them to do? How did you?
We had Jim Carnahan and Kate Boca in New York, casting directors. And they just said, "Hey, show up at this time for these guys. They're making this movie. They want to talk to you about auditioning," and they were there.
Wow.
2:45, be there. Yeah, I'll be there. Okay, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it was great. So Sam said he used to go, and I've done this too. And I when he said it, I so related to it. We didn't use it in the movie, but he said, I would go into auditions. I'd say, I could act the shit out of this part, but if you really want the guy, you got to hire my friend Phil, because he's the guy. So and they'd be looking at him like, what are you doing? He said, I know it's weird, but he is this part. I can act this part, but and so he'd leave there going, the people thought I was crazy because I was trying
giving him away.
Yeah, but that's what we do.
Generosity of spirit.
Yeah.
Is he a program person?
I don't know.
I don't know if that's out there.
I don't know.
So we can talk about that, right? Can we talk about
We can
this?
talk. I think we can talk around it.
Okay. Well, no, I don't. I honor the traditions, and I never state that. But so as long as we can.
I'm sober.
Oh,
I'm
sober as well. So how long have you been sober, James?
38 years.
That's just crazy,
wait,
there.
1982. What is that? 36.
That's.
I don't know. Listen, I say.
It's a long time.
The reason I became an actor is because I can tell you in 3 words.
Go ahead.
No math.
Yeah.
It's my stand-up.
Yeah.
And the stand-up guys
Pete's like listening and paying attention to things.
Okay.
What?
I'm getting questions.
Oh,
you're getting quick. All right, go ahead.
Yeah.
Fire away. Well, I haven't asked mine yet, so they might screw up my jam.
Let's wait.
Should we wait?
Yeah, we'll wait.
Okay. So we'll get to your questions. I promise. Everybody who's out there, we will get to your questions. So my curiosity, because I don't know anything about where you come from, what your background was. Where'd you grow up?
I grew up in Anchorage.
Okay, now that's crazy right there. I didn't even know that. Anchorage. Okay, what the hell was your family doing in Anchorage?
My dad was an office manager.
Okay.
In the days when they were building roads up there. My mother.
Where were they from?
Wyoming and Utah. I was born in Salt Lake City.
Okay.
They were divorced.
Okay.
They divorced when I was about 3.
Mm-hmm.
Got married again when I was 16.
They what?
Yeah, to each other. Yeah. They got sober.
Okay.
It was the days of wine and roses. My dad
Wow.
got sober first. My mom, it was just like that. So they split up while they were still drinking.
And who were you with?
I stayed with my mom, but I went back and forth.
So they were both up in Alaska.
No, he was in Alaska, and we stayed in. But I went back and forth. And,
Okay.
Yeah.
How did you do that with school?
Well, I went to 12 different schools in 12 years.
I did that too.
Yeah, it took me a while to get over that.
Yeah,
That's
me
weird.
Too.
That's so weird.
I didn't do 12, but I did about 6 schools.
Did 12.
It's very traumatic.
I was kicked out. I quit. I moved.
Yeah. What was it?
I'm still reeling from it.
What the hell was it like living in Alaska?
It was so cool.
Was it?
Yeah, when you're a kid, well, first of all, I grew up in Bountiful, Utah until I was 9. So when I moved to Anchorage, I'd never seen a person of color. I'd only seen white people.
Wow.
And so when I got there,
Mormon? Are you Mormon? Were you brought up Mormon?
I had some Mormons in my family, but no, I wasn't. No. It was just like, wow, I was meeting Native Alaskans, I was meeting black people, I was meeting everybody I
didn't know it was a melting pot up there.
Well, yeah, because of the military and because of back in the early 60s.
Pipeline
everywhere was except for Utah. It's just white.
Yeah, well, I went to school in Tucson, Arizona. I went to college in Tucson, and that was pretty white too.
So that was cool.
Mm-hmm.
And the long days and the winter times were dark all the time.
It was
exotic.
What is that like when it's dark all
It's
the
depressing.
time?
Well,
I can't even.
It fosters if you have if you're predisposed to the gene.
Mm-hmm. There's a lot of drinking going on.
There's a lot of drinking
dark?
and wife beating and stuff like that. Yeah.
Is there?
Spousal abuse. It's
really
suicides. It's like Seattle.
Well, yeah, the suicide I can understand when it's dark so much.
And it's raining, and it's.
And what's it like when it's sunny when it's light out all the
beautiful.
time?
It's because when you're a kid, you're playing in the summertime. You play until 11 o'clock.
That's crazy.
It's daylight. It's like this.
Right. Wow.
Yeah.
So you're a little kid. You're having this back and forth. Your parents divorced. Your parents are crazy drunks at this point.
My mom. Was.
Your mom. Your father was already sober.
Yeah.
And so, did you not like going with your mom? Was it hard for you, or did you?
No,
want to go with your
mom? I took my first drink actually when I was pouring out her bottle.
How old were you?
7th grade.
And did you like it?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, I liked the feeling.
Right away.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's that.
Were you off and running after that?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. Did you smoke pot? That was my drug of choice.
Everything.
Yeah.
Whatever you had.
Mm-hmm.
I met a guy at Rite Aid, outside Rite Aid, right before I came over here, who was taking money for a homeless living, a sober living thing. And so I asked him if he was sober. We started talking and had a little meeting, and then he said, "So I have a question for you, man. I did the," and I said, "Yeah, okay." And now, but I'm still, I'm on methadone now, and so I said, "Okay, well, And he said, "So am I clean? Am I sober? Because, he wanted to get.
He wanted you to affirm.
And I said, "Listen, you're going through a recovery. That's the recovery from that." And he said, "I'm addicted to that now." And I said, "Buddy, we can get addicted to anything. So you'll have to become clean from that." But I would say, yeah, you are.
Good for
because you did the first step, and you're doing. And he said, "Oh man, I needed to hear that. Thanks. I need. That's."
Tell them what the first step is.
Well, that you admit that you're powerless over
drugs and alcohol,
whatever you've got, and that your life has become unmanageable.
That was really lovely. You were of service to him by telling him that he was doing something good. You probably, I know, you encourage him to keep moving forward.
Well, recovery is an evolving process. No matter what,
I will never be recovered.
Yeah. It's we're in recovery.
Work in progress.
And it doesn't. Yeah, work in progress. Right. And so that's important to remember in the context this in the context of playing in the wrong key and making mistakes. I mean, everything. It's just like, man, this is this is part of my recovery. So whatever it is acceptable.
But that was really, really nice that you were able to give him. What's the word I'm looking for? Validation.
Experience, strength, and hope.
You gave him experience, and you validated him.
Yeah.
You validated what he's doing to be worthy, rather than judging him for not being perfect.
He wanted to know that he was doing the right thing, and how could I say? How could I? I mean, what kind of person would I be if I said? Yeah, but there are people who do.
Oh God, there are loads of people, and in every room that there is.
You can't have that Listerine in your house. What's the matter with you? I mean,
but meanwhile they're smoking pot. They do the pot maintenance program, right? Alcohol. Yeah, everybody's got their own version.
Yeah, but
the crazy.
it's too. Life's too short to do anything but that. I think.
Okay, so you start drinking when you're in 7th grade. I don't know, how old are you? 13 or something when that's
13, yeah.
And so your mother's active. Your father's sober. Is your father going to meetings? Is he in recovery?
My dad went to one meeting.
Okay.
I got to go to meetings with my mother.
Was your dad a dry drunk, or was he on his own?
No, he was. In his wallet when we went through his stuff, when he passed, he had that card with the 12 steps and 12 traditions on either side, and it was yellow and frayed. But he never went. In fact, my mother said, "Did you go to a meeting?" I mean, when they first, the story she used to love to tell. He said, "Yeah, I went to that meeting. They're just a bunch of drunks." And she said, "Well, how come you're?" And he said, "Well, I went out and had a beer after." But he was joking.
Oh.
That was his way of, he's that generation, that World War II generation, sort of.
Mm-hmm. They don't want to share.
Never had another drink, but also, so maybe he did white knuckle it for a while because he was also the guy who had a fifth of Jim Beam in the fridge that was unopened, and every time he got something out, the bologna or something, he'd look at the bottle and say, "You son of a bitch."
Oh. And he left it in there.
Just to remind him. Of where it took him, the bottom.
Wow.
So that's white knuckling. I mean, in a way, it's not. It's sort of every time you open the fridge, you get a resentment.
That's so interesting. A friend of mine's trying to quit smoking cigarettes, and there's a hypnotist that the way he gets people to quit, he gets them to quit in 3 days, but you never throw your cigarettes away. Like, you keep them, and it must be the same sort of. I don't know. I don't really understand the whole thing, but
I don't know.
I couldn't do it that way.
It's like, no, you want to get that stuff out.
Yeah, I can't have that.
Yeah, you can't. Yeah. No, you gotta be happy, joyous, and free.
One day at a time.
Yeah, you can't be happy, joyous, and free swearing at the bottle of booze.
I wouldn't think so. Yeah. Okay, so you're a little kid.
But he did it his way, and he never had a drink. So,
and it worked.
Yeah, it worked.
And did he get happy, joyous, and free? Did he have some of that?
I don't think so.
Okay. Did your mother have...
He died at my age of a heart attack. I mean, he was exactly my age.
Wow.
It was just...
We're of the same... Yeah. Did your mother, having gone to meetings, did she take to it?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. She was big time. And, I brought her here and introduced to my friends, and her, they all signed her book, and she was lovely.
Were you still using when she got sober?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And in fact, she used to take me, she'd call me up and say, "I need you to come with me because I can't do this alone. What are you going to do?" "Well, I've got to go pick up a drunk and take him to the hospital." "Okay," so we'd go down to the Tenderloin in Anchorage and pour this guy into the car, and I'd be the one that would have to sit back there and as he's kicking, and she'd just be driving, and she needed but then I'd be shaking after we dropped him off, and they come out and get him, and she never tried to, because they say not to do that.
It's
family.
But it's also attraction, not promotion.
Right.
Yeah.
So what she was doing was, as I realized when I ended up getting sober, was she was showing me where I would end up. Because I would say, "Man, I got to go I need a drink after this. I need to go get a beer." because it rattled me.
Oh, hell yeah.
And then she'd say, "Okay, honey, just don't drive," But because
And she never tried to.
Not until I got sober, and then she would say, it was a little bit harder line, but not in a way that would she was my mother. She had to be careful.
Well, not all mothers are careful.
Right.
I mean, some nag, cajole.
Yeah, no.
I'm in the other program, the graduate program, and there we try to tell everybody what to do and push them.
Yeah, no, she never did that. She was.
That's very wise.
She was not tough love either. She was beautiful.
That's really lovely.
Yeah.
So, how old were you when she got sober?
Oh, wow, 16.
Oh.
But they got married again when she was sober. So
oh, I see.
That's why they got married again.
And did they stay together until he passed?
Yeah.
That's kind of a lovely thing.
Yeah.
So, okay, so you're a little kid going back and forth between Utah and Alaska, and what's your life? What do you want to be when you grow up, when you're a kid?
I worked with my dad's construction company, and I was a laborer, and so I thought I would, end up in the construction business.
Mm-hmm.
I thought if I went to college, I would want to be some kind of I don't know what. But then I, ended up doing applying.
Okay, so how did that
Well,
happen?
my mom knew I wanted to do that, so she said, "I'll go with you to the audition."
Okay, what sparked your interest in that?
Well, I think I'd wanted to since I was a kid, so
So, was it watching TV? Was it going to the?
Yeah, it was seeing, movies that made me cry or laugh, and I'd go, "What are they doing? What are they doing to make me feel this way?" And then in high school, I started, I had Bob Dylan in junior high, and Pete Townsend, and these guys that I would go, "Man, I want to, whatever it is they're doing to me, I want to do that to somebody."
Did you start playing? How old were you when you started playing?
I was in high school, but it wasn't so much that. It was the idea that they
Eliciting
could.
feelings.
They were storytellers that made me go in with them. I mean, I took the Mr. Tambourine Man journey with him, and the everything Pete Townsend ever wrote. I mean, I just want but because there was showmanship, and there was they had a sense of performance, just like the greatest actors we know too. Even the ones that are so the person they're pretending to be that they forget the entire word. They forget they're being watched, which is what. That's great acting. There's no acting.
Right.
And that's what draws you in. That appealed to me, but I didn't exactly know what it was until I was probably in high school.
Do you remember your first role, your first play?
Well, I remember when I was in the English class in high school, and we were reading Glass Menagerie, and I read Tom, and I had no idea what acting even was, really. I mean, I knew that people did it, but
right.
I'd never done it myself, so I didn't know what to, except to just be Tom. Okay, I'm Tom. And then I would read these lines, and I found myself listening to my mom, or I mean, you know what I mean? It was organic. Well, it was just like I was a kid again, playing army or cops and robbers or whatever. It was just like that. And so. But then I got indoctrinated into a whole other thing when I got into the college scene.
What happened?
Well, the teachers were...
Where'd you go to college?
I took classes at the Anchorage Community College, which was then right before it became the Anchorage School of University of Alaska, which was in Fairbanks.
Uh-huh.
And the teacher there was very...
the teacher? There was
only one drama... But there was a music... There wasn't no department.
Okay.
Really.
Uh-huh.
But they put on plays, and and community theater. But they just weren't the kind of people that were pure. I had to be deprogrammed when I finally met the teacher that straightened me out. So, because they were putting technique and methodology and all that stuff on it instead of just the pure storytelling, the make-believe part, which we sometimes forget when we get dragged into the business and we start going, career, and it's got to be about acting, and I've got to think like an actor, and no.
I have to think like a person.
We have to think like a human being.
Yeah.
We're human beings.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what, when we see it, that's what impacts
Turn the
us.
sun, of course.
So why not aspire to that in our work, right?
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter, again, it doesn't matter what your medium is as an artist. If you approach it as a human being, you're gonna move people.
In everything in life.
Everything.
If we approach it as a human being, which sadly doesn't happen often enough.
That's the short version of that is you're not your job.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you hear that all the time. You're not your job. What are you doing?
Mm-hmm.
That's what that means. I think.
So you're in college. This is what you want to do. This is this is what I want to do. So how do you get out of Alaska, and how does it start for you? What happens
I went to
college?
New York when I was 21 for
Okay.
a year. My sister was there.
That was ballsy. Did you have money?
I had unemployment coming in because
Okay.
I'd driven a truck
Mm-hmm.
in Alaska for a while.
Mm-hmm. Where'd you live in New York?
I lived in off Lex, between 3rd and Lex, I think 47th or something.
Uh-huh.
My sister's one little studio.
And did you start pounding the pavement? What did you do?
Yeah, I did. I ended up doing a Terrence McNally play at a little theater, and yeah.
Bad Habits was my
He's
first.
in Showing Up too.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
He was just honored at
I know.
Samantha's graduation at NYU.
And with the Tony.
Yes.
Yeah. He's such a lovely
He got
man.
an honorary doctorate at NYU this year. Yeah.
And so, let's see. You know, I was just there a year, and I was so I wasn't ready.
So what does that look like? So you're an actor. You're not ready. What are you doing when you're there?
I auditioned a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And
were you studying or?
I found a guy to study with that was a mistake.
Oh.
He was not a very nice person.
Mm.
One of those teachers that, you know, has to sort of strip away. Well, it becomes,
Your dignity.
With bad teachers, it becomes about them.
Yeah.
And it was about him, rather than the work. I didn't meet that teacher until I got here.
Okay, so who was the teacher that impacted you so?
Harry Master George.
And how much later did that happen?
That was 81. That was when I first got here.
Okay.
In fact, I met him when I was about 6 weeks sober.
Okay, so that's what I wanted to ask you. So let's have a timeline on this. So you go to New York, you want to be an actor, you're 21, you have a teacher, it doesn't work, you're too soon, so you come to LA right after that?
No, I was an apprentice at the Alaska Rep. I got my equity card there. I went back to Alaska.
Okay.
They hired me through the CETA program under Carter. Remember the CETA program?
Not really.
Comprehensive Employment Training Act.
Okay.
I wish we had it now, because it was all walks of life, not just the arts. But they paid us $250 a week to work in the theater, in this Lort Theater.
Wow.
And I straightened nails and built sets and assisted the lighting designer, played the small parts. Was told to get over myself. I mean, all that stuff that you need to hear as a young actor. So I learned all that stuff.
And you're still drinking?
I was drinking then.
And you're still drinking. Okay, so
I was 78.
So what?
That was when I auditioned for Bill Ball.
Well, tell that. That's a great story.
Yeah,
tell that
it's a
story.
good story.
ACT in San Francisco.
ACT, and who am I talking to? Oh,
You're talking to them. Yeah.
I auditioned for ACT because I wanted to. First of all, I love San Francisco and I wanted to live there, but also it was a great school then. I'm sure it still is, but back then it was.
Everybody wanted to get into ACT. It was the school.
So I flew down from Anchorage and auditioned, and I just blew the doors off the plane. I mean, a couple of great pieces, and I felt really good about it. But I didn't get accepted into the school, and I was devastated because I thought, man, if I can't even get into school, right? What kind of acting career if I can't even get into an acting school? So I just said, I'm gonna go another route. To hell with them.
What does that mean? I'm gonna go another route.
Well, I'm not gonna go to school. I'm just gonna go to work. I'm gonna start working. I'm gonna start working in the theater, which I did. From the moment I set foot in LA, I got equity contract. I mean, the taper. I worked it all.
How did that happen?
I just started showing up. I got here. I got an agent right away.
How did that happen?
An actor that I had been the dresser of when I was an apprentice knew Judy Shane, who was at Writers and Artists. And we met socially, and she said, come to work. Oh, they called me and said, come to work for us, driving delivery. taking scripts to our client. Peter Scolari was on Bosom Buddy, so I met Tom, and when they were kids, they were just like me.
Wow.
But that's how I learned the city, and I had the Thomas Guide in one hand. Remember?
Oh my God!
And
Thomas Guide, for those of you who don't live in LA, is about this fat. It was before GPSs. I still can't read.
How did we not crash?
Oh.
I mean, seriously, you think phones are bad because you're reading this book.
It's a book. It's crazy.
So anyway, that's how I learned the city. But finally, one day, Joan Scott, the owner, who owned the agency, said they said you're an actor. I said, yeah, I am. I want to be an actor. I am an actor. Mm-hmm. Well, why don't you do a scene for us, and we'll see if we want to represent you. And I said, okay. So I did a scene from Lone Star, and I was still drinking. So I can't even tell this story.
No, you have to tell the story.
Well, I walked into the office, the agent's office. We're supposed to be drinking, Jack Daniel. I walked in with a real Jack Daniel. I was really drinking in the scene. Nobody knew. It could have been tea, but I mean, I was.
How did you pull it off though, and not fuck it up?
How did I do anything?
Well, yeah, I guess.
How did I not crash my car and kill myself or somebody else? I mean,
yeah, grace of God.
So anyway, they signed me, and then fired me from the job because I couldn't be a client,
right?
And so it took me about another year, I think, to get sober from there. And I was doing a play with a lovely actress, Anne Hearn. You know Annie. And she said to me one day, you're abusing your gift. And it killed me.
Did you would go to rehearsals drunk?
Yeah,
or?
I was struggling with it. Mm-hmm. I would come in, hungover from the night before. Mm-hmm. She knew I was struggling with it. Mm-hmm. And that's, I guess that's what I needed to hear. You hear it when you. But I couldn't understand it until I heard that, and I went, "Wow!" And then I had another friend who was in the play with me, and he said, he was sober, and he said, this is going to kill you. You know that, right? And I said, "Yeah, I know it is." And he said, "Yeah, just your luck. It's going to take you 50 fucking years to die."
Oh.
And I said, "Wow." I just broke down weeping. Because 50 years of feeling the way that I felt was, I might as well put a bullet in my head.
Had you ever tried to stop on your own?
No.
And you had seen it with your parents.
Yeah,
and
I didn't.
You didn't.
I didn't understand it. Mm-hmm.
Did you know you were an alcoholic?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So, what got you in that first meeting? Did you quit before? Did you go to a meeting to quit?
Yeah.
So, did somebody Eskimo you in?
Yeah, a friend who said that to me took me. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Eskimoing somebody in, with you being from Alaska, is when somebody takes you. They're your Eskimo and they save you.
Yeah, so it saved my life.
And you took to it right away?
Well, I knew it really well because I grew up with it. Mm-hmm. So I did.
As soon as you went in, you were done.
I did, and here's an interesting story about this.
Mm-hmm. Did you finish the Bill Ball story?
No, I never did.
We have to go back to tell this one, and then we'll go back to Bill Ball.
Well, I just sort of went to these rooms, and I went to many rooms a week. Mm-hmm. But I would just sit there, and I was terrified. I would listen to these people talking, and I would go to these stag meetings, listen to these guys talking. A lot of them were people that I knew because they were, they were in the business. Mm-hmm. So that intimidated me even more. But I would never speak. And so one day after the meeting, some actor that I knew, but came up to me and he said he was from Central American countries, somewhere, broken English, but a lovely actor. Mm-hmm. And he said, "Jim, we're very angry with you. Many of us here are very angry with you." I said, "What? Why? What did I was blown away. What have I done? Well, you never share yourself with us. And so we think you don't trust us. And because you have to understand that when you give yourself to someone, that's the gift. And when you don't share that gift, we think you don't trust us. And so we're angry with you."
Wow. And
that was another moment, where you have, and I just went, man, okay, you asked for it.
Really? Did that get
I
you
mean,
to
that's
do it?
I did. The next time, with my voice shaking, and I mean, because it's one of those meetings where you have to jump in. There's no,
Oh.
you know, you have to. Is he almost? You know, that kind of thing. So I mean, I had to become.
That takes balls.
It does, yeah. And it changed. Everything changed when I started to reveal myself.
Did you work the steps?
Oh yeah.
Had a sponsor?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, still do.
Yeah, good.
In all my affairs.
As do I. Yeah. It takes a lot of people. I have a lot of people.
Yeah, I mean, you know, you have to.
Yeah.
Because
God Squad.
It's the fellowship. What is it the saying that, you know, if you don't do that, you're the only fellow on the ship? Is that?
Oh, I've never heard that one before.
I heard that.
I like that one.
It's kind of. I mean,
The
I
only fellow
sort of
on the
mangled the quote. So the Bill Ball thing.
Okay. Yes. Tell the
Anyway,
story.
we were having dinner at this rotating restaurant in Boston. I was working with Bill Ball as an actor.
Okay, wait. You didn't get into the school.
I didn't get into the
you
school.
told that story,
so
right?
that's 78. So
Okay.
1992.
Now
What is
fast
that?
forward.
14 years later.
Okay.
See math.
I can't do the math.
Yeah.
I'm
So
leaving it to you.
we're having dinner in this thing. We're doing this James Merrill poem for video that never ended up being anything with Keith David. We're having dinner.
Right.
The three of us are talking, and
Keith David was he the one that was in An Officer and Gentleman? Is that
Yeah,
Keith David? Yeah. Love him.
yeah, he's a lovely man, lovely actor, and so I'm sitting with these two guys, both of whom I admire greatly, and we're in this thing together, and so we're talking, and about an hour into it, I said, Bill, can I, you know, tell you something? And I didn't know how to say it because it devastated me for a long time. I mean, I thought it fed my "I'm not enough" narrative,
Right.
you know.
Right.
Because I really wanted to be a classically trained actor. I thought, you know, I'm not going to, whatever.
ACT was like the play. I mean, everybody. I knew
Yeah, it
everybody
was. Yeah,
wanted
in
to go
the
there.
70s, late in the
Yeah,
70s,
huge.
and through the 80s probably. So I told Bill, you know, I auditioned for you, and I didn't get accepted. And anyway, I just wanted you to know that I really wanted to work with you, and so anyway, that's. And he could tell. I mean, I know he could tell that you know I've been carrying this around, you know. So he reached across the table and put his hand on my arm, and he said, "You didn't need us." and man, that was like, and it was that was one of those moments where you just go, that just never occurred to me, even if it's not true. But why wouldn't I tell myself that?
But you know what? That's like what you just told that methadone addict today. It's grace.
Yeah, he just took that off me.
It's
and said,
grace.
this, you don't need this shit anymore. And plus,
Did it for you after that?
oh yeah, I was free because
Wow.
I started thinking of it in you know, I mean, we have broken perceivers a lot of the time, right?
Mine's definitely.
Yeah, so my perceivers in that instance were broken, and I thought it had everything to do with me and nothing to do with. They're casting a company. They've already got the curly blonde-haired guy who looks like me, who's 18, and I'm 20. You know what I mean?
Right.
It just never occurred to me that I came in there with, and I mean, you know, the pieces that I did, I worked on them, and then I started thinking, well, you know what? I was pretty fucking good. Maybe I didn't. I mean, maybe I was okay. Because I decided.
Oh, that's
I don't
good.
need them. I can do this kind of work. I just did. I mean, that's I think what we have to tell ourselves. We have to approach it like, you know, I'm not going to wait for permission. I'm going to create my own stuff. I mean, that's how I wrote this play.
That's how I do this show.
Yes, you're creating your own. Yes, perfect. Well done.
Well, not.
It's perfect.
It's perfect except for the money part, but other than that,
Well,
it's perfect.
Yeah, I mean, you know.
Yeah, we can go there.
Did we get into it?
Oh, we don't. So okay, so how does the career start to? How do you start? What's the first professional gig? How do you make your? So you're doing theater, but you're making money. You're making a living doing theater. Do you have other jobs? Do you have side jobs?
I've worked a lot of jobs in my life. Yeah.
So like, what kind of jobs did you do?
I worked at Gladstones when I first got here. I was a
Wait,
busboy.
Oh, as a busboy. Okay,
Yeah.
good. Okay.
So the waiters who were also actors didn't split their tips with us. So that's how I knew.
You were the lowly busser?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that, because I had to wait. I walked in and said, I want to be a waiter. Well, we can work your way up, I said, okay.
My daughter's doing that right now at Tribeca Grill in New York. Yeah.
Working as a
Well, she was a hostess, and then she just did her busing thing, and now she's a runner, and next she'll be a waiter.
Yeah.
And she's working in the office doing marketing. It's like, you do whatever you got to do.
You do what you have to do.
And eventually you become a bartender, and then you really make the money.
You show up.
Yeah, you show up. So, and it's called, for those of you who haven't seen, it's on a DVD.
No, but you can also iTunes.
Can you stream it?
Yeah,
you can stream it.
Amazon, iTunes, anywhere VOD, right? Video on demand.
God, is that what it is? I don't even know that. I don't even know that.
Yeah.
Okay, so what's the first film gig? Acting on screen?
Oh, the day my mother died, I got a gig. My first TV job.
Wow.
And the most memorable, aside from that, I turned it down. I was in Colorado at her house, and I turned it down, and it was my SAG card job, And I hung up, and my sister said, "What just happened? What did I hear? What?" And I said, "Well, I got this job, and I just can't. I mean, my sister says, she's dead. Go do it. I mean, she probably got you the job,
Yeah.
So I said, "Wow, okay." So I went and did it, and
what was it?
It was a thing called with Desi Arnaz Jr. called Automan. I played and this was before the story of this job is that this was before where you could do ADR over the phone. Before it was analog days, so you couldn't do any of that stuff. So they called me. I was in Salt Lake City doing a play, which ended up going to Edinburgh, then England.
Oh,
so,
wow.
But it was opening night. They wanted me to come back for ADR, and I said I can't. And they said, "Yeah, don't worry about it. We'll do something." So I tuned in with all my friends. It was the first time on TV. We were Monday night, it was the night off, and we were watching it.
Because there's no VCRs then.
Yeah. So we're watching, and I come on, and these bad guys come from one end of the hall and say, "Hey, is your name Gary?" And I go, "Yeah, it is." They go, well, you need to come with us. And then out of my mouth, you hear,
"Yeah, sure, whatever you say."
They used like the guy, I don't know whose voice they used, but they didn't even try to hide it.
Oh my God.
Yeah, sure, whatever you say.
So I just said, "Oh man, I can't do this.
Oh my
If this is what this is going to be like,
Oh my God.
I can't do this."
That's your first film gig.
Yeah.
Oh.
So.
So.
And I was a male stripper.
Chippendales?
Well, it was like that, and
Yeah.
so my mother had just died, and the thing is, I have to jump off the stage I was Gary the cat burglar. That was my thing, and all these women are like, but they can't clap because in those days you can't do the sound because it would ruin the take. So they're pretending to clap, so it's silent. There's no music, but I'm dancing for them like a stripper. And I'm taking off my mask. I do this jump, and I come over and do this. And at the same time I'm thinking, my mom just died.
Oh.
And then when I saw it was not
And
my
then you had
voice.
the voice.
Anyway.
That's pretty hysterical. So was it always the dream to be a film actor, or
No, I was
when did
in
that
the
happen?
theater. I just wanted to I just wanted to work.
So how did it shift because you became?
I just started working. I mean, I just became a working actor, and so,
So you've been doing that for a long time. You've been a working actor a long time.
Yeah, 35 years. So
Yeah, that's a pretty good run. So
yeah, it's time to hang it up.
no, I don't think so. But no, it's a pretty good.
Yeah, no, it is.
You've
And
been
I
able
got-
to be an
Yeah,
actor.
yeah.
And,
It is. I'm lucky.
You're very well and talented and deserving. So, what are the markers of things that moved your career along in ways that you could measure?
Well, meeting Glenn Morgan probably was one of the first one. Meeting Harry was the first one because he's the guy who said to me in class after I did a scene from Hatful of Rain. Remember Hatful of Rain?
Yes.
What a beautiful play.
Yes.
Michael Gazzo?
The heroin addict.
Yeah.
Yeah.
From the Actors Studio. They wrote it, the actors wrote it together.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. So anyway, I did a scene, one of my first scenes with him, and Annie took me to his class, introduced us actually, Annie Hearn. And after the scene, he said, "So Jim, I don't know you real well, but you really love acting, don't you?" I said, "Well, yeah, I do. Yeah, I mean." And he said, "No, I mean, you are in love with acting, aren't you?" I said, "Well, I think, yeah. I mean, I think we have to be to do what we do. I mean, because we have to put up with a lot." And, "Sure, yeah, I am." And he said, "Yeah, because the perfume that you exude when you act is clouding your senses."
Whoa, wait a minute, I have to think about this.
And I just went, "Oh my God." So basically what he was saying was you're stinking up the joint.
Well, not really.
Yeah, kinda. Yeah.
He's saying you're getting in your own way.
Well, yeah, he's saying
right?
you're doing too much act. You're doing too much. You're dramatizing. You're not enough. You don't think you're enough. So I spent years with him, and it took me a while to. I mean, I put "You Are Enough" on my mirror.
God, my sponsor reminds me to say that every day, and I always forget. It's the one thing I always forget to do.
Yeah.
I say a lot of other things, but I always forget
important.
that. Mm-hmm.
Especially in the work. Because otherwise we have to embellish and we have to dramatize and we have to, we try to, I have to make this interesting, Oh, man, you're so interesting. Just thinking the thought. I mean, look at the actors that the camera's going and they're just thinking the thought, and the camera sees it, and it's really interesting. They're not doing anything. So he taught me that, and I still, it's one of my things I really have to work on.
I think most actors do.
Yeah, I think that you're probably right.
Dramatizing.
Just being enough, and some come by naturally. Some really have to work at it.
So, what were some of the milestones prior to 24? Which I assume 24 changed your life.
Yeah, well, meeting Glenn Morgan was definitely, and meeting Randy Stone. Do you know Randy? Did you know Randy? He passed. He was a lovely man. He. There are people that they believe in you, and they don't give up on you.
Rick Smolke's mine.
Yeah. So I think we each have those. And if you don't, and you will. You'll. The trick is recognizing them. And going, "Oh, this is somebody who believes in me," and that's why it's so important to let people know that you believe in them too.
Absolutely, especially our children.
Yep. So,
did I tell you that Howard Gordon is part of my mishpucha? Did we get into
that? Yeah. We talked about Howard.
Yeah.
I was going to say meeting Howard too was
24.
Yeah.
He's the.
But also and we never talked about this, but I think he probably came to know me through Glenn Morgan because they'd worked together on the X-Files. Okay,
and you had a part on the X-Files.
I did, but I worked with Glenn on a series that he did with Jim Wong, his partner, in '95. That's when I first met him. In a series that they did. We did it in one season. But yeah, meeting Howard, definitely. Howard is, I owe Howard a lot.
So how did 24 change your life? I mean, it's how I came to know you, know your name, know who you are. I mean, more than just, oh yeah, that guy, I recognize him. I've seen him in a bunch of things.
Well, I think anytime an actor does a thing that's
iconic,
visible. I mean, high visibility, any degree of visibility.
That was high visibility.
High visibility, yeah. It was like the first Twin Peaks. I mean, it was groundbreaking in a way that people won't admit, but they
won't?
No, I mean, I'm talking filmmakers and
Okay.
where they're sort of subconsciously channeling what they learned from watching that, and they put it into their thing, and you go, and then you see it, and you go, oh, that's,
Yeah.
you know, you recognize groundbreaking things, and it really
24
was.
was.
Yeah.
And what was so great about it was before we used to tape things and watch them. I mean, we watched it in real time, and it was like that was a show that was not missable. It was there was no way that I was going to miss 1 minute of that show ever.
Yeah.
You know, in front of the TV.
They really had the ending, that cliffhanger ending down. But also the stuff they put in the middle between the beginning and the end too. Yeah. And they were so generous. Just being on that set, working with everyone was the generosity was the collaborative feeling of it. But it was also the first thing that as an actor on film, that I felt I settled into the medium. You know, I felt that I was enough, and I could just stand there and be Bill Buchanan, and this was my place, and I was the boss, and it was, but it wasn't an ego thing. It was just I know my job, and oh, it's kind of dysfunctional, so I've got to bring a certain level of whatever compassion or clarity of thought, because that's what it called for.
How did it impact your life to be on this incredible success that was so high profile? It had to impact your life.
Well, you know, yeah, like I said, if you know, people recognize that you're working on something it validates you in their eyes, so they regard you differently.
Do you validate yourself?
No. I mean, I knew what I was capable of. It made me feel gratitude insofar as, you know, I was glad that I was in a project that was so highly regarded, and that I could be my best in it. I mean, I think we all felt that way. You know.
Did you continue to do theater in your life as you were getting?
Yeah, I mean,
I know you're working on something now.
Yeah. When was the last play I did? I don't remember. It's been a little while.
Okay, but you're working on something now, your own.
Something that I wrote, yeah, a one-person play. Which
James will be here at the end of August, and he's going to do a few pages of his monologue, of his play, a monologue from his play. It is all a monologue because it's a one-person play.
It's a one-person play.
And
it's being developed by the Ojai Playwrights Conference.
So fabulous.
Yeah.
So when did
yeah.
Fabulous.
Yeah.
So you got to start working on that.
I've been working on it. Yeah.
How is the whole memory thing? I'm really curious about this at this stage of life. It scares me to death.
You know, I'm not going to worry about it for this thing because I'm going to be reading it.
Nice.
I'm gonna. Some of it is going to be memorized just
naturally.
Just because, But it's going to be. It's in process too. So, but the process there in any playwrights conference is a staged reading. So, you know, scripts in hand or on music stands, or blocked to a certain degree. But
how is it when you go up for a role now, a film role or whatever, and you have?
Can I remember stuff? Is that what you're asking?
I want to know.
Yeah, it's hard. It's harder. But I have to work harder at it.
Do you have a technique for memorization?
This is what I tell my students. You know, because I teach now with Risa Brayman Garcia and Steve Braun at their studio, BGB studio, and this is what I learned from Harry.
Okay.
And if I let me say this first, and then I'll qualify it. I try to start by learning the thought before the words that represent the thought.
Okay.
So because it's my way of going beyond the world of the words. That being said, that's the ideal.
Mm-hmm.
But that being said, if it comes down to, you're going to show up on the set, and if you're not memorized, you're going to be, it's going to be awful.
Mm-hmm.
You do what you have to do. So, yeah, I have techniques that I use,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't like to talk about them specifically because
Okay.
they I don't want them to take precedence in
Over
my
the
own
thought.
mind over the thought.
I like that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So when I teach it, and when I was taught it,
Mm-hmm.
I met it with a little bit of a little bit of resistance initially because I wasn't trained that way.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of us aren't,
Mm-hmm.
but it really helps us stop thinking like actors.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if we pick something up and we start, when we're moved by kids dying at the border.
Mm-hmm.
We don't read that as an actor. We're moved as a human being.
Mm-hmm.
Why can't we be moved by that story by Tennessee Williams about Big Daddy and Brick, and Big Daddy's dying of cancer, and Brick, freaks out at him and tells him, and that's moving.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But if we think about it like actors, we're cutting off like a huge part of our imagination and our emotional, the depth of our emotional well. I mean, that's just natural law, right?
I like that. So when did the singing songwriting thing happen for you?
I had a guitar teacher, a lovely man and a very talented musician, Richard Peikoff,
Mm-hmm.
when I was doing 24.
Mm-hmm.
I would drive to his house in Beverly Hills and 3 hours a day take a lesson. And,
What sparked that?
I was teaching yoga,
Mm-hmm.
and I wanted to maybe play during Shavasana.
So what sparked yoga? What how did that happen?
Oh, I met a teacher named, see, it's all about teachers, isn't it? To me, I mean, that's the...
Look at that.
It's
Look
all
at
about
those
teachers.
clues to them.
Well, the tradition, the yoga tradition, especially, is passing it from one person to the next. So, I guess I took to that naturally, and we're talking about it too in the fellowship of being of service to each other to help save lives. But yeah, I mean that's the tradition that I'm. Well, listen, it's also the folk music tradition.
Mm-hmm.
It's Bob Dylan. Every Bob Dylan song that he probably wrote for the first how many years that all those guys, they would take a folk song and a traditional folk song and say, I'm going to write some more lyrics to that. I've got a great story I want to tell. Those are great chords, kind of a good melody too. I think I'm going to maybe steal some of that, and it was the same tradition.
Mm-hmm.
Blues music's the same way. All music's that.
So did you play?
I just
Did
went off
you-
on a tangent, didn't I?
No. I'm trying to sort this out because I wanted to ask you first when you started writing because I can tell you're
okay.
a writer.
So with music, you mean?
No, like when did you start writing and what did you first write?
I wrote a play in 1983 based on my growing up in Anchorage.
Mm-hmm.
And it was chosen to be developed at the Sundance Institute.
Nice.
And so we worked on it up there, and Evan Handler was in it.
Evan's been here many times, and I've interviewed him.
He's a
I love
lovely
Evan.
man.
Uh-huh.
And Kathy Bates was in it.
Wow.
They were mother and son.
Nice cast.
It was a great cast, and so and it was produced subsequently in L.A. here in Salt Lake City.
Mm-hmm.
Had to be nominated by a theater, so Salt Lake Acting Company sent it over.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the first time going back to Ojai. Is the first time. In fact, it's when I met Bob Egan, the artistic director of Ojai Players Conference. He's directing my play.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So we've known each other forever.
So, okay, so you wrote a play first. When did you start becoming a musician? 24 was when you started?
Well, I'd been
doing
playing
it
and
before.
writing. Well, I was playing. One day, Richard said, "Have you ever written a song?" Because he was teaching me covers and some scales and slide scales and stuff. And I said, "Yeah, I actually did. I wrote some stuff when I was younger." He said, "Why don't you lay one down for me?" And I said, "Oh, can I go home and look at the words?" So I brought him back next week, and he said, "Do you have any more?" And I said, "Yeah, I do. I played a couple more." And he said, "Yeah, you want to start writing again?" So I got permission
Yeah.
And I just started, vomiting out all these songs.
That seems to be a recurring theme
Permission?
today.
Yeah.
About having validation and permission.
Well, validation. Well, yeah. I mean, all we need to hear, like one person can hear something you write and go, you know what, you ought to do that.
Mm-hmm.
You're good at that.
Mm-hmm.
And then you just go, well, that's how I wrote my play.
Mm-hmm.
I read 10 minutes of it for the acting class that I'm in at Reese's studio,
Mm-hmm.
and the response was kind of overwhelming.
Mm-hmm.
And one person in particular in the class said, I'd watch it an hour and a half of this. And I just went, something in me just went, well, okay, I'll just write it then. And I did.
That it's the secret of everything. With this book, I was writing a rant just to get something off my chest. And my husband, my husband at the time was a comedy writer for David Letterman, and he read my little rant and he said, you should keep writing. This is something. I never would have a book had he not said those words to me that day.
Yeah. All it takes is one person.
Yeah. One right word, right words at the right time. Yeah.
But we wanted to.
It wasn't even a thought in my head until it was like, you should keep writing. This is something. I was like, what do you think it is? I don't know. I don't either.
Yeah.
I'm going to keep writing. And I just kept writing. I had no idea. I had no training to be a writer. Yeah, it just kind of happened. I didn't know how to write a book.
Well, look what you did. You wrote this really compelling.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So, okay.
Beautiful and funny.
Thank you. So you don't jump. Sex, drugs, rock and roll, my fucking mother. You can get it on Amazon. So you start. So do you start playing out as a musician? What happens with that?
Yeah, I wrote. Yeah, I did.
Mm-hmm.
I played with Richard actually. I took him along with me because I didn't feel like I could. I still have trouble with it. I don't know why.
Mm.
I have to play the role of singer-songwriter.
And by the way, I just want to say, for those of you out there, tomorrow night, Pete and I, Pete, we haven't talked to you at all. We're going to talk to you now. But Pete and I are going to Bogies to see our friends, Snuffy Walden and Sarah Nimitz, and they're playing with a 6-piece band, and we're going to go to Bogies and see them. And so come on down and join us tomorrow night at Bogies if you're in LA. And you should check this club out. It's a fabulous club.
I will.
Yeah.
Speaking of Pete, did you have questions?
Pete's gonna give us a book. Pete,
listen to me, I'm taking over your show.
No, it's Pete. I want to introduce Pete to everybody in case this is the first time they're coming. Pete George, who is the rock and roll comedian. Pete, where can people see you do your rock and roll comedian thing?
I like how it's just so generic. Where can they see your rock and roll comedian thing at a rock and roll place?
Yeah, no, not at a rock and roll place, at a comedy club. Where can they see you?
Well,
yes.
I will be. The next date at this point is headlining the Grand Hotel in downtown Las Vegas, July 24th through the 28th.
Okay.
I think 5 shows.
All right, nice.
And then Detroit after that, and a few other things.
Great.
Nice. Okay, so Pete,
Yeah.
what do you think of all this?
I think it's awesome.
Yeah?
It's always awesome. Isn't this great, guys? It's always great. Amazing guest. Heartfelt. I really got the whole conversation. I actually I booked a pilot based on exactly what you were talking about, that it's not about you. Your job is to be there so that the production gets the best result, even if it's another actor. And once I flipped that around, that's when I started booking. It was just
interesting.
Because it's not that I didn't care. I was no longer attached to the outcome. I just stayed inside what my commitment was. How's that for comedy?
Yeah.
Well, no, but that's so much.
hilarious.
That's so much program too. It's about the journey, not let go of the result.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's all about.
That's
that.
hard.
And it is hard.
But the results are indisputable.
Yeah. It's like anything in life, right? It's like when you're attached to the outcome, you get stuck.
Yep.
And you're no longer a contribution to make a difference.
Yep.
So.
Well, you're playing the end of the scene. Nobody,
Yeah.
How can you do that?
Yeah.
So, all right. So, Pete, give us some questions.
What's some questions? I gotta go back over.
All right. While Pete's running back over there,
Thanks for coming in.
Yes,
all right, so
we'll let you know.
Crystal, I did ask
Call
her
your
about
agent.
his sponsor. Oh, Crystal wants to know if you're single. He's not, Crystal. He's married. But
thank you for asking.
But yeah, isn't that nice to be asked? Hi, Robert. Let me say hi to people. Rob Compton. Hi, Bill. Hi, Marty. Hi, Christina. Christina. Hi, Jody Siegel. Hi, Jody. She's a great singer. Hi, Eileen. Eileen Angel. You have some great singer-songwriters on here, by the way.
Oh, wow, great, yeah.
Both of those women are incredible. Why does it say Ricky Ricardo? It doesn't say Ricky Ricardo. It says Rick Ricciardo, which is really...
Hey, look, that's what I thought, right?
And hi, Bill Burnett. He's another great singer-songwriter. Crystal Husband is here.
She said she's good. She was back at work the next day.
I'm so glad, Crystal. I hope I'm going to see you tomorrow. I hope we're going to see you tomorrow. Peg Farber, who was the person who was telling me that she is now auditioning. She's a woman of in our demographic, and she has now decided to be an actress. And she said, I'm at this stage of life where I don't give a shit. I can just go out there and be myself. I can just be.
Yeah.
And not sweat it and not suffer it.
Yeah.
Which I think is so much more attractive.
Mm-hmm. You're gonna be happier too.
And happier too. Hi, John Green. Hi, Ken. Okay, so give us some questions.
Yeah, Robert Owen would like to know, what NCI did you appear in?
Gregory Harrison. Hi, Gregory. I love you.
It's Gregory Harrison?
Yeah, Gregory's. No, that wasn't the one who asked the question. Gregory's just on. I just saw him. Yeah.
Oh, hey. Gregory.
No.
Which NCIS?
Yeah.
It's the one. Let's see. The Mark Harmon one.
Oh. I have no idea what they are.
That was the first one, I think.
Okay.
Yeah. That's the one that's been on forever. Yeah, that was. He's a hell of a nice guy.
Is he?
Yeah.
Mark Harmon, is he married to Pam Dauber? Or were they on TV together? I know he has an association to Pam Dauber.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they're married.
I don't know.
Yeah. Anyway, they're a cute couple.
Crystal also made a comment asking about if you had gotten a sponsor going back, because she said she's still looking. She got dropped 2 times.
Oh.
So maybe someone.
But those things happen. Well, somebody needs a sponsor. So if you're out there and you're in that position, have you been with the same sponsor all these years?
No.
Yeah.
No.
Mm-hmm.
The first one moved away. I moved away. The second, yeah. I mean, and one of them died.
Mm-hmm. I had one.
Yeah. Jack Kissel.
Are you anonymous in the rooms, or do you say your last name?
I do. I have said my last name, but I don't. No. No.
Mm-hmm.
Just James.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Other questions, Pete?
Yes, going back.
Jimmy, if I feel like it. Hey, I'm Jimmy.
Do you say that?
Yeah, I have.
Are you a Jimmy in real life?
Lots of people call me Jimmy. Yeah.
Do they?
Yeah.
Going back to 24, someone was asking specifically, what was it like playing that character on 24?
Well,
Did you channel something to be Bill Buchanan?
No, I don't. Well, I don't think so. I think I just decided that. What was it like? Wow, it was wonderful. I mean,
how was it working with Kiefer?
He's the hardest working guy.
Is he?
Yeah, he's. It was fun. I mean, he brings it.
Mm-hmm. Was he? I mean, I seem to recall back in the day when he was making all those headlines that he had kind of issues with substances at certain points in his life, but not during the 24 days, I don't think.
Yeah, we never spoke about that.
Mm-hmm. He looked like he had it pretty together in that period.
I just didn't. I decided that wasn't my job.
Mm-hmm. Does that ever come up on gigs like people know each other are sober, so you have like a meeting or?
Well, maybe, I don't know. Sometimes I used to if I felt nervous, like if I got to a job and I would say something to the camera crew. I would say, anybody here know Bill or and just
being afraid of Bill, by the way.
So somebody'd raise their hand, and you just go, thanks, man. I just wanted to let you know that I just wanted to check in and let you know that I'm good, but I'm
a little squirrely.
Yeah. And you're okay, man. It's gonna be good. Love you. Whatever. So then you just go, okay. I'm among friends.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that was helpful. I mean, but that's.
Yeah.
You find ways to do that without doing that too. I mean, now I introduce myself to the camera crew as a matter of course anyway, because
Just to be a nice human being.
Yeah, and also because we're collaborators.
Sure.
I mean, listen, one of the best things about 24, and I say this a lot, and it's not to demean, I love the people that I worked with, every one of them, but there was one guy, and everybody felt this way. Everybody on the camera crew was brilliant, but the guy Skinner was the handheld camera operator, and because he was in the scene with us, but you never see him. So sometimes you and I, you know, you're Jack and we're talking. Well, Guy is down here, you know, like this, and if I get up to move, and so we're, you know, I'm doing this.
You're jumping over him.
But so you're watching him with one eye, but you're
looking at Jack.
He's a scene partner.
Wow.
And also if you miss a move, you know, he's got the thing here like this, and he'll go like this with that eye, and you'll go, oh man. Well, during the scene you'll go, oh man, I just fucked up. Guy gave me the whale eye or whatever it is.
That's funny.
Yeah.
That's funny. Pete, we have more questions?
We have a comment from Linda. She says, hi James, I'm Daniel Absey's cousin.
Oh, hi.
So
Linda's the photographer for Women Who Write who shot you that day.
Oh, I remember now.
Do you remember?
Yes,
Yeah.
Yes.
Hi, Linda.
Paula said, I am sitting here watching you and the Bruins game. Pardon my slight absence.
Okay, you're forgiven. Greg Tashka, a guy that I went to 7th grade with, is watching. Hi, Greg. Don't you love that? You know, the thing about the Facebook that, you know, some people say, oh, I don't want to talk to people that I went to school with. And it's so nice.
Yeah.
Like, I've reconnected with people I've known since I was like...
Look at me eating nuts.
There you go.
I'd like to run into people that I went to school with now.
Have you ever run into people from Alaska?
Oh yeah, a couple.
As a result of Facebook?
Uh-huh.
Oh, that's really cool when that happens.
Yeah.
More or
that's it for now.
So if you have questions for James, but we're going to get to some music because we've been talking we've been yakking for an hour and a half.
What?
So, yeah, we have. Look at all the love. People are sending up all this love for you.
Sweet.
Lots of love for you.
I'm sending it up too. Back at you.
Sending it back at them. All right, I'll do it for you. I'll send up a little love for you. That's a little love from James back at you guys. Okay, there you go. So tell us about a song that you're going to sing that you're going to take. Oh, before you take us out with a song, I just want to say that next week, Fred Willard, going to be with Fred Willard.
Oh,
and
love that.
I don't know if you grew up with the Mary Hartman Fernwood Tonight deal, but Fernwood Tonight was life-changing for me. That was one of the shows that we never missed. Well, never missed it.
All of Christopher Guest's movies too.
And The Mighty Wind and
Mighty Wind is like one of the most amazing films ever made.
Best in Show. Best in Show. Fred is incredible.
And Corky, what's his name?
Waiting
for Guffman.
Yeah.
Anybody who's in show business.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, those are amazing films. Fred will be with us next week.
I'm such a fan.
Which still blows my mind that we're going to get to do that. And on January 25th in the living room, I'm really excited because I really begged and pleaded. But Rosalind Kind, she's Barbra Streisand's sister. She is an incredible singer in her own right and a beautiful woman. And
she was amazing.
She's amazing, and she's a humanist and an activist, and she's doing a new she did a new version of Save the Country, and the Laura Nero song, and she did a beautiful version of it, which hopefully she'll sing that day. And Fred Melliman will be here, and Harriet Schock, our own Harriet Schock.
What a great room!
So it's going to be fantastic. And then I'm just going to put in a further plug. So we're going tomorrow night to see Snuffy Walden play. He's going to be here with Teresa James and Terry Wilson, and he's been playing with Terry Wilson since the 60s. And Teresa was nominated for, and Terry were nominated for a Grammy this year in the blues category. And Snuffy did the music for The West Wing and 30-something and stuff.
That's what I know the name.
Yeah. So that they're going to be here.
Beautiful.
And then also that day, this is crazy. This guy Adam Chester. This is July 30th. This guy Adam Chester is Elton John when Elton John's not being Elton John. He's the one that sits down at the piano during rehearsals and sound checks and everything, and he does Elton. He does Elton so well that Elton will come over to him and say, "Oh, what are the chords for blah, blah, blah." And so he's going to be here and he's going to do a couple Elton John songs. And did you see the movie? Did you see...
No, yeah.
Yeah, it didn't rock me.
Really?
I was
Oh,
not.
I saw you say that.
Yeah, Rocket Man didn't do it for me, but Elton John does it for me, and I'm looking forward
I
to
wonder if he
it.
also says that lick that you did with your voice. Does he do? I mean, he sings the songs.
Oh yeah, he sings the
because
songs.
he must. I mean,
Yeah, of course.
Wow.
Yeah, so he's going to be here, and he's going to take.
He's got
requests.
somebody who does him.
He does him. Supposedly, he does him better than he does him.
Wow.
So that's going to be really fun.
We all need somebody like that.
Right? Why isn't
I'm
somebody
not up
do
to
me?
it.
Nobody does me.
Can you get in there? And... Wow.
My kids do me. Yeah, my kids do. Yeah, my kids do me. So okay, so James,
Yes.
what are you going to sing us out?
Well, I mean, I sort of want to go out with the song that I wrote for my boy because is that okay?
I love that.
I mean, it's a sweet love song, but
we like sweet songs. Pete, thank you for doing this.
Yay.
thanks, Pete.
And thank you all out there for joining us and for coming back all the time. You're getting love.
Yeah, well,
Love.
thanks everybody.
And thank you so much for doing this. I adore you.
I adore you, thanks.
And yeah,
This is
just
beautiful. I knew it would be,
yeah, it's wonderful.
but better than that.
Oh,
Could have
nice.
dreamed.
Exceeding expectations.
Yes. So, you want a brief intro?
Yeah.
My son had a brain tumor when he was 10. He's 20 now, doing great.
Thank God.
But I
How do you find that out?
oh, I talk about it in my. That's what the play's about.
Oh. The what is that called? The Cliff Note version.
We his gait changed. He would hold his head when he laughed for weeks before. But one day he showed up after his last baseball game. He couldn't see the parking meter. He said, "There's a big bright light on the." So we looked at each other and went, "Oh, fuck." So we went to the. This was Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
Monday we went to the ophthalmologist and she sent us to the neurologist. The neurologist said, it's probably nothing, no big deal, but go get a scan. So Tuesday we had a scan, Wednesday MRI, Thursday schedule, Friday 9 hours of brain surgery.
Oh my, that happened fast.
So the night before we found out that there was a mass, I was recording my first CD with Richard Peikoff, and from that night, I couldn't pick up a guitar. I couldn't sing. I mean, there was nothing to sing about.
Of course.
So when we finally got home 3 months later, he was still on chemo.
3 months
We
later.
were at Children's Hospital for 3 months in rehab and radiation and everything.
Did he lose the ability to speak, or
He
did
couldn't speak, see, walk, talk, or use his right hand for 3 months.
Wow.
So when we got home, I sat down and wrote this in 10 minutes.
Oh my.
And when we recorded it, it's on my first CD. It's the only thing I did in one take. No, it's solo, So
What's the CD called?
it's called.
You're gonna give me the information. I'm gonna put it in
Yeah.
the thing so people can get
Yeah,
it.
I can't remember.
There you go. All right. Oh.
Anyway, I called my band "Son to the Boy." This is called "No One Loves Me Like You Do." I'll say it simply as I can. I never loved no one like you. You show me what it means to be a man. No one loves me like you do. Don't have to reach for what to say. Don't have to preach, don't have to pray. When I'm lost, when I feel betrayed, your love lights my way. Sung a song and written plenty by those no longer feeling empty, of a love that shows us who we're meant to be, a love that sets us free. When I look at you, I know no one else sees me quite so true.
I know I'll never be alone, 'cause you love me like you do. Ah, because you love me like you do.
James Morrison, I forgot to ask you, what acting stuff, what's coming up? What should we look for?
I'm working on the play at the Ohio Playwrights Conference. I'm booked out from everything, so
I love it.
Thanks.
Well, thank you so much for doing this.
thank you. I love you.
What a sweet man. And Pete, thanks again.
Thanks,
And,
Pete.
You got it.
We will see you all
Thanks, everybody.
next Wednesday. Game Changers with Vicki Abelson. See you then.